Greetings everyone. Karibuni sana. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night for those of you who's it's late wherever you are. If you are watching from UK, it's probably afternoon, late, not late evening, but evening or late evening, whatever the case is. If you're in the Western Hemisphere, it's probably still daytime. If you're in Kenya, it's probably like 7, 6, whatever the case is, evening. Whatever the place you're watching this from, Karibuni Sana, or you're going to watch this from, because I know some of you, maybe this is bad timing for you, but Karibuni Sana, this is Kenya Revolutionary. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, before you even subscribe, the first order of business is to like the video. Like the video. Go ahead and like the video. I'm about to have a short discussion with you today, okay? I know it's a big day for those of you who watch soccer fans, Arsenal fans. I think Africa has the #1 Arsenal supporters worldwide. But karibuni sana, karibuni sana, karibuni sana. I know you're playing Real Madrid later on today, so that's a huge game today. So I felt maybe I should just talk to you about politics before you get to the Real Madrid versus Arsenal stuff, okay? So karibuni sana. The first order of business is to like the video, even if you don't know what I'm about to talk about. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. This channel is all about Kenyan politics and world politics at large as it relates to Kenya, okay? So karibuni sana, karibuni sana, karibuni sana, karibuni. I'm giving you guys a few minutes to go ahead and just settle down, have a seat, grab a seat, do whatever you have to do, grab some popcorns. I know, probably you guys are not going to get this video on time because like I told you, this channel is being targeted. There are people who are, slowing down the internet, are messing up with my server. So I do not have enough people watching. They don't get notifications. They don't get, notification that I'm on and all that stuff, okay? So it's okay. We are going to take care of that. We know what's happening, but we'll fix that. So if you're going to watch this and repeat, please remember the first order of business is to like the video, subscribe, share, like, and comment, and do all that good stuff, okay? Let's get to the mada ya leo. Ama namna gani? Karibuni, mada ya leo. Mada ya leo, I just wanted to speak briefly about what's going on up here. I just saw news a few minutes ago of Luo professionals. I don't know who these people are. Luo professionals had a press conference today, and they say that any governor that is going to be anti-broad-based government is going to be targeted, is going to be impeached. Basically, they were just throwing shots at Orengo, James Orengo. This started with the whole, this past weekend. Remember when Raila and the ODM folks fraternity were on that funeral. Odongo's funeral, Raila's aide that passed away. They were at his funeral. And again, in a typical Kenyan fashion, somebody's funeral where people should be going there and eulogizing about the departed, they took this opportunity to actually start talking about politics and the goings-ons of the current political zeitgeist. Yusuf Sifuna stood up there and tell the president, hey, president, make sure that the people advising you are giving you the right advice. The kids hate you. This whole Butere girls thing is going off, whatever. You heard about that. Then there was Oburu Odinga who came in and started saying that, please, the president, give us what's due for us. Don't let the people of Siaya or Nyanza province be marginalized as it has historically speaking, which was a silly statement because if you understand how actually devolution works, as per our constitution, it is not up to the president to, decide what money goes to what region, okay? But again, like I've explained, the Kenyan problem is the constitution and the law is not enforced and has not been implemented. And the people who are responsible to do that have failed to do so. Actually, they are held hostage politically by these so-called political elites. And so the president still has that old kind of power that they had pre-2010. Karibu sana Shimariam, nakuona hapo. Asante kwa kulike the video. Nashukuru rafiki yangu. I'm glad to see you. It's windy today, sorry. Ndio maana my kufi is all the way in Anguka, This is to support, for those of you who are wondering why I usually wear this is to support the Palestinian people who are going through a rough time. Not only Palestinian, but Congo people who are also suffering genocide that's going on there, also Palestinians. I support Palestine. I stand with the Palestinian people, justice for Palestine. But anyway, let's get them back to the point. Mariam unakuona, Mariam anasema, meanwhile, Raila is observing table manners. Hufai kuongea ukikula. Of course. I think, who said that? Nani said that? What's his name? Huyu jamaa anaitwa nani? This politician from Western Kenya who shot somebody. Anaitwa nani huyu politician? He said the same thing. He said Raila is observing table manners. He is not talking while, you know, the food is in his mouth. So anaitwaje? I forgot his name. He wants to run for government of Bungoma or something. He's anyway, if I remember, I'll say itakuja mepotea kidogo. But back to the topic. So yes, this stems from what happened on that funeral. It was apparent that ODM, even within the ODM faction, this kind of people are not seeing eye to eye. There is the Sifuna faction who are kind of they're not afraid. They don't agree with this whole idea of broad-based and supporting the president, and they're being vocal. Of course, Sifuna didn't go outrightly to speak against what the president is doing. He just narrowed it down to the Butere issue and never really expounded on the general, disagreement or the general mood of people who are opposing this broad-based arrangement by ODM and UDA, okay? So he just limited it to Butere. But like I say, James Orengo, when James Orengo had the chance to come speak up and address the mourners who came to this funeral, James Orengo was very, very, very passionate in his appeal. And I think what he was talking about was, I think James Orengo, if I remember, James Orengo, number one, he kind of made it very clear that he, among others, fought very, very hard for this new constitution, okay? And he felt like this regime is shortchanging the Kenyan people. You know, whether it's the issue of the Butere girls or other myriad of issues that, whether it's, the abductions, the extrajudicial killings, he didn't mention all that, but it was very clear that he wasn't in support of the majority of the things that this government is doing. But he generally just said that, they fought so hard for this constitution, and it will be important, imperative for this government, this regime, Ruto regime, now with their newly formed alliance with ODM, at least the folks who are the Junet side of things and the Raila Odinga's side of ODM, who are joining this government, because you had Otiende Amolo actually say that they've joined government, okay? Even though he was trying to play around with words, sophistry, to try to distance himself and say, we are in government, but we are not government. Basically just saying nonsense, a bunch of nonsense. But Orengo was just saying that, this government, whoever is in charge, okay, Junet was sounding like a, yes, what's Mariam saying? If I was Sifuna, Ndindi, and Babu, I will resign from political party and youths will register their party in big numbers. Hafai kukosewa heshima na madarao ya kila siku na katumbo mzee Junet. That's true. Yeah, I think there was a time when Sifuna and Ndindi Nyoro, in fact, Sifuna was seen with Kalonzo, and people were, saying that maybe Sifuna might jump ship when it comes down to it, okay? And I will also mention later on about, Wamunyoro's pronouncements. I think they went to Kambani, Machakos, if I'm not wrong, where he was joined with Matiangi and Kalonzo Musyoka, and they had a crowd. They had a decent crowd, okay? But having a crowd does not necessarily mean that you're going to be voted as president. But I'll get there, okay? So back to what Orengo said. So Orengo basically, passionately made an appeal. Francis Irungu na kuona, mambo vipi? Ndio tumeingia tupe uhondo. Aya, karibu Francis. Hebu endelea. Nipe like vile umeingia Francis Irungu. Tafadhali kwa hisani yako. Aya, nakuona. She, Mariam, is saying here, no, they should form their own or watching how I say. You don't go. Yeah, that's but nakuja hapo. I'll talk about Sifuna and Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Wino and the rest, okay? In just a second, okay? So anyway, like I say, but not Babu Wino. I'm confused. Orengo gave a passionate speech reminding the government at hand, the administration of the day, that they fought very hard for this new constitution, 2020 constitution, and if they fail to implement and respect and to see through and force the principles of this constitution, we shall this country will go to the dogs. Okay, basically that's what Orengo said, and I think a lot of people were not happy with those pronouncements, and so it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because as you know, the Junet Mohammed, Raila Odinga, and the others, of course, Oburu Odinga, they just entered into this UDA, ODM, broad-based thing, okay? Like I said, as Otiende Amolo basically told the people, wameingia kwa government, okay? So for Orengo to actually criticize this government, it reflects badly on even the people who have joined this government. It's like they're rubber stamping a failed government that does not respect the constitution, okay? You see what I'm saying? So it kind of highlighted the division within the ODM party, okay? Or Nyanza to be renewed. So fast forward, today we had a bunch of people. I don't know who these people are. They're calling themselves Luo professionals. So they came out and had a press conference and they say that, hey, basically anyone from Nyanza province, okay? I'm using Nyanza province because nowadays we have all these counties and all this stuff, which I think we need to get rid of. But that's the topic of another day. I'll just say Nyanza province, Luo Nyanza especially. The Luo Nyanza demographic, okay? Constituency, let me just say that. So these guys came out, and probably are people who are, probably Raila Odinga told them to go have a press conference, because Raila Odinga is a coward. Raila Odinga cannot come out and say, I disagree, cannot publicly say that I disagree with what Orengo said, or I would like to, chastise Rani Orengo for what he said in the funeral, because Orengo was right, okay? Number one, Orengo was right. And number two, like I said, ODM itself is fractured. So if he comes out and say publicly that he disagrees with Orengo or try to chastise Orengo publicly, he's already on the bad side of majority of Kenyans. He will be giving Orengo a lot of social currency, okay, support. And he might even fracture the support that, the little support that ODM still enjoys in Nyanza province. Because some people might see, Siaya people might see, Orengo naingiliwa, our governor is being attacked, the government is being attacked, Raila Odinga, because already there's, let me tell you something, okay? Let me just help you, let me help you. Even now, there's whispers behind Raila Odinga. There are whispers, and these whispers are becoming loud. The whispers are, William Zay is taking us for a ride. It's been happening. This whispers, easy whisper, Aikwanza Jana, it didn't start yesterday that when Raila Odinga joined the broad-based government. It started in 2017, okay? People always felt that the Raila Odinga, they say that this guy only cares about his friends and family, immediate family. And it's true. It's evidenced by the kind of appointments and the way, these certificates and nominations are done. So even within Luo Nyanza constituency, let's not be delusional here. Luo Nyanza, the most influential political party is ODM, okay? It's done so. They do that through crook and, every other means, intimidation, all that stuff, okay? So if you start your own party there, ukianza kwanza ODM or UD, sorry, ukianza party yako UD or whatever, you saw what happened a few months ago, 6 or 7 months ago when Orengo was publicly telling people that if you see anyone who's supporting any other party apart from ODM, he should be violated physically and all that stuff. He said that in his mother tongue, okay? So you can see, and there's numerous stories, cases of how people are physically attacked, assaulted, or even killed if they try to, sell or campaign for any other party besides ODM. But the murmurs that I'm talking about, the whispers against ODM are becoming louder. And ODM, as much as they might think that they enjoy majority support from Luo Nyanza, the support is waning because it is more than clear now that Raila Odinga cares about himself. He doesn't care about the progress and all that stuff, the progression, economic progress or development in Nyanza province. Okay, we've seen that. I mean, this guy has been every government, but what has the people of Nyanza actually benefited from him being, prime minister, whatever the case is, okay? So that's why Raila Odinga cannot come out publicly to chastise Orengo for what he said in that Nenio, because Raila Odinga would love for Orengo to, be pro this broad-based government. But Orengo understands that the majority of Kenyans do not approve of this broad-based government, okay? He understands that, okay? The downside for Orengo is this: he's corrupt. While he's one of those people who fought hard for the multi-party and, has always been on the side of Kenyans, once he became governor, we all know about the millions that were being looted. I mean, remember a few months ago last year when his deputy governor came out and, spoke about these millions that was disappearing from the impressed accounts, impressed account. So Orengo also have some skeletons in his pockets, in his closet, okay? So anyway, that's why I'm saying Raila Odinga cannot come publicly and to address Orengo's what seems to be an anti, broad-based government speech, okay? So he has to use all these useful idiots that had this press conference saying that anyone from Luo Nyanza, and they were saying governor, of course, just, to make them toe the line. Any governor who does not support the president and this broad-based government shall be impeached, okay? It's a threat to Orengo. They're trying to get him to toe the line. I mean, you saw that what's that former governor who was in, was it Migori governor or something, Migori? The one that was accused of killing his side chick or whatever the case is. I forgot his name is. They tried to, because he was going against the grain, he didn't agree with ODM, and he went against the grain, and they tried to impeach him. Okay, but he survived because the people actually liked him, and the people stood up with him. And I remember Mbadi was really speaking against him, vehemently speaking against him, but he survived. So this is what's happening. So that's why I'm saying Raila Odinga cannot risk publicly, trying to threaten or say something against Orengo, because he understands that even in Luo Nyanza, ODM is kind of divided. There are people who are not buying this whole idea of broad-based government. They're not buying it. They're not boarding. So, haya wacha nikae kitako cha mchuzi cha mchuzi. Sawa Mariam. So that's why they cannot do it. So Raila uses this so-called Luo professionals to come out and speak and threaten Orengo, say that. Now, this seems to be a strategy by this new formed broad-based government, because you see that they're coming for Wamatangi. Wamatangi, like any other governor, is another crooked governor, okay? It's not that you're Naonewa, but like I said, Ruto apparently wanted Wamatangi to kind of show his support for him. And Wamatangi, understanding that Mount Kenya, right now, Mount Kenya are not in the mood for anything Ruto related or anything to do with this regime. So what do? They use the oldest tactic in the group, the oldest tactic in the book, which is use what you have against Momatangi. Listen, if majority of this, even Ichungwa and all these people, let me tell you, all these politicians from Central Province, Kikuyus, or Central Province in general, Kikuyu, Embu, or Meru, or whatever the case is, let me just say, what do you call him? The Ninio, Gema tribes. Any politician from the Gema tribe who is supporting Ruto is not doing so because they like Ruto, they love Ruto, they think Ruto is this great person. No. They are doing so because they are either being blackmailed, Ruto has something on them that can actually send them to actually jail or whatever the case. And Ruto is holding that against them. Case in point, the former governor of, was it Kiambu or whatever? What's his name? The guy that just went to jail. What's the, not Mike Sonko, the other guy, what's his name? Ambamenda prison. He was a supporter of Ruto. But as soon as he started speaking against Ruto, what did Ruto do? All of a sudden, Ferdinand Waititu, thank you. Waititu was pro-Ruto, right? But Waititu still has, ambitions of becoming somebody, like, a political figure. Though he was impeached, but big Kenya being Kenya, Ferdinand Waititu would love to be involved as part of the body politics, be part of the politics, okay? Or some capacity, okay? But Ferdinand Waititu understands that supporting Ruto in Mount Kenya is political suicide. Excuse me. He understands, guys, like the video. Ferdinand Waititu understands that supporting William Samoei Ruto coming from Mount Kenya is political suicide right now. So he understood that, okay? So he went out and, started speaking against Ruto. And Ruto, knowing that he has some dirt on Ferdinand Waititu, all of a sudden, kesi imefunguliwa as corruption. I mean, who doesn't know that Waititu is alikula pesa governor when he was a governor of Kiambu, whatever the case is? We all knew that, okay? But it was being used against him. So unaelewa? So that's how they use it. So it's the same case with what's his face? What's this guy's? I just mentioned right now. Wamatangi, okay? Wamatangi, we all know that too. Wamatangi, all these governors, I'm telling you, all these governors, but I just want to concentrate on the politicians coming from Central Kenya, okay? The few that are supporting Ruto, they are doing so because they don't want Ruto to expose them. They are not doing so because they love Ruto. No. They are doing so because they have no choice. Because if they want to save themselves politically and side with the people, with the general mood of the Central Province, which is Ruto must go, if they do so, Ruto atafungua hizo kesi zao za corruption. Nacheki. So they will dare not. That's why you see Nani and Ichungwa. Ichungwa knows that he's deep into some stuff. Don't be surprised in the next few weeks if Ndindi Nyoro, some cases will be, Ndindi Nyoro utasikia tu, Ndindi Nyoro is involved in something else. Yeah. The way he's doing to Matiang'i, and he has forgiven Maina Njenga, the ex-Mungiki, because he's supporting him, amekuwa msafi all of a sudden. Si ndio? Hao wanataka wanyongwe. Absolutely, ndio. I've been saying this, people need to be hanged. Yeah. And that's the same thing. You know, I mean, Maina Njenga, of all people, there's no way in hell Maina Njenga can be supporting Ruto. No way. But what could be the reason? What could be the reason why Maina Njenga is supporting Ruto? Because unakumbuka vile walimshika huko walimdetain. They took Maina Njenga into a dark room and sat him down and told him, hey, Maina Njenga, you know what? We have a history. We were both involved in ile uwaji wa 2007. Your people kill my people, your people kill my people. Actually, it was more Maina Njenga killed, whatever, Luos or whatever the case is. But, so he sat down with Maina Njenga akamwambia, Maina Njenga, sikia, I have overwhelming evidence of you as the ex-Mungiki head, you know, being involved in some murders and killings and all sorts of whatever, extortion and all that stuff. So it is in your best interest to support, use those Mungiki that you have, your influence within those Mungiki people to support me. It is in your best interest, my friend. Because if you don't, hizo kesi zako ambao umewaua watu na extortion, I'll open them. Na utapelekwa committee and I will make sure you don't get out of committee. So you have a choice, Maina Njenga. Join the government, unisupport, mimi nitakupatia cheki, hata kama unataka cheki ya 1 million every month, pesa iko. Mimi hata zingine nimepeleka Switzerland. So Maina Njenga, support the regime. So Maina Njenga kaangalia akasema, you know what? Hata mimi naangalia mbele hapa, I want to be MP or senator or governor of sijui Laikipia or whatever the case is. Let me play ball. But Maina Njenga doesn't care about Ruto. It doesn't. Maina Njenga is more like Uhuru's guy, okay? That's the Uhuru's mtu wa mkono wa Uhuru. You know the history, okay? So that's how they played. So Ferdinand Waititu. So okay, so Wamatangi, the same thing with Matangi. Wamatangi, you know, alipigiwa simu. He actually said it. He said it in his press conference once he was detained and released. Alisema Ruto alimpigia simu and he's trying to intimidate him and he has support, you know, atafungwa. That's the game they're playing. So Matangi ameamua. He's taking his chances. Okay? So this is what's happening. So it seems like Raila Odinga and Ruto are trying to use these governors that they know are corrupt to support this unpopular bread-based government, okay? That is their new strategy. They want to use this bread-based government. They want the governors to support them. That's why they're starting to clean house in Nyanza, and they're cleaning house in Central Province. No. We want to make sure that in Nyanza Province, imekuwa locked. Kila mwanasiasa wowote ambao ametoka Nyanza wote, whether it's in MCA, whether it's governor, whether it's whatever, wakwae wana support broad-based government. Wasipo support government, tunawa impeach. That is their motto now. That is their modus operandi. That is their plan, strategy. Now Ruto pia amesema, I want to know who is down for me. So hapo Central Province, I know I don't have support, but niko na kesi zao. I know there are a couple of politicians from Central who are very corrupt. Wako na kesi za ufisadi. Naitwa ufisadi ama whatever the case is. So I want to use that to force them to support me and try to get some influence to buy people who can support me in Central region. Okay? We want to do some house cleaning up to make sure kuna watu wanatu support. And we are going to use these cases against them. That seems to be the new strategy by this broad-based alliance, okay? In other parts, Wamunyoro Chronicles, very quickly. Wamunyoro leo alitokea akasema akatuambia jana juzi ama whatever the case is. He told us that my life is in danger. Lakini Wamunyoro anatupima kichwa. Your life is in danger kweli we. Wacha mchezo bwana. But anyway, we'll ride with it. Here wameanza kampeni yao na Matiangi na nani. Wazee wazima wakiramba mtu Anas juu ya power. Wa Kenya we have we have to fetch the person who bewitched us. Yeah, hao watu wanafanya hivyo, wana ninio. Maina is very good at mobilizing people, but when it comes to votes, anachaguliwa na bibi na watoto wake. Like Kipya people don't care to elect him. Yes, and that's why Maina Njenga is very important to Ruto, because like I say, he has influence within, the youth. I mean, he's willing to. I think Maina Njenga understands it, but Maina Njenga might be playing Ruto. So maybe ameambia vijana wao, ameambia, hey, unasikia kuna pesa hapa tunapewa ndio to support Ruto, but when it comes down to it, we know who we'll vote for if it comes to voting. Okay, so they'll support him publicly, but the real no. So yeah, but yeah, so that seems to be a strategy. It's about intimidation and blackmailing these governors who they know have checkered past, and use that to force them to support them. Okay, so Wamunyoro told us that he's getting death threats, that his security yake sijui imetolewa or whatever the case is, or his life is in danger. I don't even get what's that all about. But regardless, he said that he was out there speaking in Machakos with Kalonzo Musyoka and Matiang'i. Like I said, in general, these guys, even if they have 1 billion people, the game is rigged. So I won't preach to you again, because we all know what happens. Okay, Ruto has it locked down. He knows how he's going to play it. We are going nowhere. Okay, it's like right now, Wakenya tunangoja to see. For those of us who are waiting for some kind of public people's revolution, tunangoja tuone Wakenya watakasirishwa na nini tawafanya watoke waende on the streets to protest and demand that Ruto resigns. Okay, sijui ni Wakenya wanangoja what will precipitate the precipitating factor. Ni nini itafanya? What will trigger people to say enough is enough, let's go to the streets and remove Ruto? Okay, because every day it's a new thing. Okay, we're just learning about I don't know how many billions that are being stacked in Swiss bank accounts. Unaona? Another finance bill. Good point. Finance bill itakuja when? Finance bill itakuja, was it the end of July or something, before something like that? June, July, something like that. Okay. Yeah, so people are waiting for that. Are we waiting for another finance bill? Because to me, it sounds like everyone is resigned to this idea of 2027 elections. But that will be too late. Because guess what? By next year, Kaongo ametutisha kuhusu KDF. Sijui anapanga nini. Yeah. Because by next year, 2026, ikifika, I think it's August next year, ikifika August next year, 2026, you cannot impeach any MP or senator. That's what the law says. 12 months before general election, you cannot impeach any MP. Na bado hatuna IBC. Siniliwaambia bado. Sijui hata nianzeaje. Do you remember the video that I made some months ago? Mnakumbuka? Hebu acha niwakumbushe. I'll start bringing up these videos again. Kuna video nilitengeneza a few months ago nikasema IBC wanataka kuidelay mpaka 2026 August, because the law says 12 months before elections you cannot impeach your senator or your MP. Ndio maana unaona wanacheza hii mchezo wa town hapo kwa hii mchezo wa IBC. Ndio maana utaona wanafanya hizi ujinga hizi interviews za ujinga then let me help you. Let me make a good point. Let me make a bigger point very quickly. Listen to this and write it down. Andikeni chini. Unaona hizi interviews za ujinga. You see how we are scratching our heads unaona huyu jamaa sijui Olo whatever akiuliza maswali ati can you name 4 Kapenguria, the 6 Kapenguria, this sijui Kapenguria 6. Na hizi swali za ujinga. Who is the current sijui nini. You see that? The aim, they're doing that, wanafanya hivyo kusudi. They're doing that deliberately to create outrage from the public, to create public outrage. Watu wakasikia waseme, what kind of candidates are these? What kind of interview is this? What kind of IBC interview is this, where they're being asked who is the Kapenguria 6? This is a sham, because the aim is to do this, is to bring outrage, cause outrage, public outrage. Jumana unaona watu wanasema the people who are being chosen there, wakina Nyachai na sijui nani, they are Ruto's minions, they are Raila's minions. But they're doing that deliberately. Why? Because they want you to be outraged and say, hawa watu wataki, this is a sham ninio. But what really they're doing, the main point why they're doing this is to do this. Watangoja waseme, okay, si nimekataa hawa watu. And they will take their minions to vote them out. Say, okay, si na hawa watu hawataki, hamwataki hawa watu. Because they're buying time. Because once you reject these people, they'll start a new process of interviewing. Meanwhile, what they're doing is this. The main reason why they're doing is this is to buy time. Wachezecheze hii mchezo wa town mpaka ifike August of next year, which is 2026 August. 12 months before elections, by law, you cannot impeach any senator or any MP. Because they understand, listen to me, they understand that as soon as they pick an IBC, wakiweka IBC in place kesho, half of these senators, half of these MPs watakuwa wameondolewa. Because people will start putting in petitions. Wataanza kutoa impeachment process ya hawa MPs na senators. You understand? Because the legislative body is so unpopular with the people that if they form the IBC right now today, people will start gathering signatures kutoa ma MPs, kutoa ma senators, and they don't want to go home. So wanaleta these bogus candidates and bogus interview so that the public can be outraged by the process and these candidates, so that they can stop the process and start it afresh, in order to delay the time of installing and of reconstituting a new IBC, so that to fike 2026 August 9th, which will be 12 months before the next general election. And by law, you cannot impeach a senator or an MP 12 months before elections. Do you get it now? Ndio maana unaona wameka watu wao wanauliza maswali za ujinga. Can you name the Kapenguria 6? Sasa wewe jiulize, wewe umeenda kutafuta kazi ya IBC commissioner. Mtu akikuuliza who are the Kapenguria 6, how does that help in the future in your job? How is that relatable to the position that you're applying for? Mimi nikienda kutafuta kazi ya watchman ninio huko ninio sijui ni Sarit Center, whatever the case is. Two Rivers Mall, whatever the case is. Nikienda kutafuta kazi ya watchman huko and I'm being interviewed, wakianza kuniuliza, have you watched ninio no one but you, ama sijui nini, whatever. I mean, you should ask yourself, what has that question have to do with the position that I'm vying for? If I'm vying for IBC commissioner position, there should be questions that are related to the position that I'm applying to. So they should give me a scenario, tell me, hey, uliona mwaka uliopita ile during the last election, we had discrepancies between what was being posted on the portal and the form 34As and 34Bs. In such scenario, you as a candidate of IBC commissioner, what actions can you take if you're faced with a situation like that? Those are the kind of questions that you should be asking the so-called candidates. Lakini wewe ukienda hapo unaanza kumuuliza, can you name 6 Kapenguria 6? And they're televising this. In order for you to be outraged by the whole process and these chosen individuals, handpicked individuals, that they know the public are going to reject, because they want the public to reject these people so they can start the process all over again and have it become a protracted process that will drag until August 9th, which is 12 months before next elections. And by law, it says you cannot impeach an MP or senator 12 months before next general election. So ikifika huko, ndio utaona wataweka IBC, and they'll tell you, utasikia, even if they choose a new IBC right now, utawambia, for us to be ready for the next general election, to get our hizo maninio, ma papers, ballot papers, and all these computers and all these servers to get them ready, we will get them ready after August 6th, 2026, August 9th, 2026. Because the aim is to make sure that these MPs and senators, the legislative body, finish their term. Because they understand the people are so outraged by the legislation, but they feel it's useless. Ndio maana wanapitisha hizi malo za ujinga. And they're delaying the process. Tony Awita anasema Kapenguria 6 are the returning officers. But I'm afraid what a delay IBC, absolutely. By the way, nimesema referendum is coming in July. Yeah, but hatuwezi kufanya referendum without IBC. We cannot have a referendum without the IBC. Unaona vile Kasongo ametufinya nani? Mariam. For a referendum to happen, we have to have an IBC. So wana delay IBC kwa sababu hawataki referendum. Wamejua tukiweka referendum leo sahi. Ruto, Raila na hiyo legislative body na Uhuru na watu wote Karua wote wataenda nyumbani. Today wataenda nyumbani sahi. Na Mugu hata wataenda na nio. Ruto rarudi Sogoi, hata sina Uber, atatembea. If we are to have a referendum today, nobody from the legislative body is going to get their Ninio back, sit back. Not a senator, not even a Ninio. That's why they are delaying the process. Wanawauliza mambo ya Kapenguria 6. Alafu wanawauliza ati ulisikia ile swali wengine walikuwa wanamuuliza that gentleman. Wanamuuliza ati who is the minister of sijui ni CS of sijui what. Maswali za ujinga. It is a game being played. Because to them, they want us to get to 2027. Wanataka hiyo election. Wanataka tufike hapo. Hawataki mtoe mtu before hiyo election day. Wanataka tufike hiyo election day. Tufike 2027. Lakini ndio maana wanatoa njia zote na mbinu zote ambao mnaweza kujaribu kufanya nini? Kuondoa hawa wanasiasa before 2027. That's why they're delaying this IBC, because without IBC you cannot have a referendum. Okay? Without IBC you cannot impeach these members of parliament, these senators. You cannot. Because they all have a vested interest in 2027. Wanaenda kupanga ninio za vifaranga. Panga. Nyinyi mnajua Matiangi, Matiangi. Maraga, Kalonzo, Karua. Wapi? Kasongo ameshapanga vitu. Alafu mtaanza kupigana. After election mtaenda kwa Supreme Court. Supreme Court pia inapangwa. Alafu muende ninio. Mkishashindwa Supreme Court, hapo ndio sasa mtaanza kukasirika, mwanze kwenda kwa street. Mwanze kuchinjana, mwanze ukabila sasa. utaanza kusikia ati Wakikuyu ndio wanaleta mambo ya revolution hapa. Election has happened, we have chosen a new president. Wakikuyu ndio wanapiga makelele hapa, wanasema ati tumeiba ninio. They don't want peace, they are just against you nini. They'll try to blame the Kikuyus for Kasongo failing, and before you know it tutaanza kuona tribal clashes, ama mapolisi watatumiwa au majeshi watatumia, majeshi, police officers watajaribu kuwaua Wakikuyu na hizo kabila zingine ambao support the government, and before you know it there'll be tribal clashes between hii kabila na ile kabila. Before we know it, civil war, we're in the brink of utarudi kwa ile scenario ya 2027, and before you know it, what happens? Mtaletiwa emissary wa kutoka sijui UN or US or whatever the case is, akuja aseme kama vile Kofi Annan aseme nini. By the way, I didn't know Kofi Annan alikuwa Freemason. I just found out that. Alafu atakuja aseme wazee wakae chini, all parties kaeni chini tuongee to change the constitution. Hii constitution is too much. To change the constitution ambayo inaweza kuaccommodate watu wote. Broadbased, handshake, BBI, government. Na watapiga sahihi waseme we found peace. Peace. Utaona Raila Odinga hapa anasalimiana na Ruto anasalimiana na Gachagua anasalimiana na Matiang'i anasalimiana na Kalonzo anasalimiana na Karua anasalimiana we have a government of unity, of national unity. And then we shall go. Watasema sasa there'll be 7-term limit of presidency. Kasongo aendelee miaka 7. Meanwhile Raila ni prime minister. Martha Karua ni deputy prime minister. Musalia Mudavadi ni another deputy prime minister. Gachagua ni leader of opposition, the official. Mimi naambia Kenya, tunakorogwa bwana, tunakorogwa. Mnapangwa, amuoni mbele. Revolution inafaa ifanyike saa hizi. To deny these people that chance ya kukoroga wa Kenya hapa hivi. Ndio maana Ruto anawaambia live. Anawaambia mimi nani atanishinda? Nani? Ati Matiang'i. Wewe mnacheza nyinyi. Matiang'i hawezi nishinda. Ruto anakuambia hivyo, anawaambia live. Because he knows he controls IBC na ile mashini yote itaingia hapo imeshapangwa. Pre-programmed. Mnahesabu inaenda kwa Kasongo. Inaenda kwa Kasongo. Kasongo president. Kasongo TB. Kasongo tabam. Na Raila ndio huyo tumbo yake. Ndio maana unaona Raila amekaa. Raila unajua Raila doesn't care who becomes the president. Ule mtu atashinda ndiye atajoin. Sina amejuanga vile anajoin ninio. Alafu nyinyi mtaachwa kwa mataa tu hapo. But anyway guys, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Not so much. Francis Irungu, shukran. Miriam. Shimariam, shukran. Tony Oweti, thank you so much. And others that are going to watch on repeat and who are going to join later. Please, if you're going to watch that later, do me a favor. Your like button mpaka udunge. That's the first order of business. Now subscribe. Share, like, comment. Be patient with me. I'll be back in studio before you know it. And I will be inviting people to give their views, debate, discuss, and all that stuff, okay? Vile siasa huku Kenya inachemka. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who are Madrista fans, Los Merengues, good luck. Arsenal fans, good luck. I know it's a big game. So enjoy the game, enjoy your evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow, right? So mtakuwa hapa. Weka your notification on. Put that notification button on so when I come in tomorrow, you'll get a notification that I'm on and we can have this discussion. I'm again. All right. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And I will see you later or tomorrow. Peace and blessings. I'm out.